Welcome back to the Lean Parent series. Today I'm going to talk to you about a personal experience of mine that actually shaped my life forever. So get yourself a cup of tea or a cup of coffee, sit back, relax, listen in. So let's take you all the way back to when my son was born, 2018. As you all know, as a parent, as soon as that happens, your life changes quickfold. Like, I walked out of that hospital thinking, oh my God, what am I going to do? I've got all these responsibilities, all these new things that I've got to navigate and deal with, and I don't have a clue how I'm going to do it. They don't hand you a guide or a rule book and tell you this is what to do and follow. You've just got to work it out for yourself. Now, fast forward a couple of years, in 2021, me and Jesse's mum unfortunately split up. So naturally, that was a new navigation into my life whereby I had to now learn how to become a single parent, a co-parent, deal with that alongside other things that I was doing. I was trying to run this business and I was also working in a 9 to 5, 40 hours a week. And I was also playing football and still obviously trying to stay on top of my health and fitness. So I was juggling and spinning a lot of plates. And for the first 6 months, it was really hard. Naturally, with the breakup, it was navigating that, the feelings of and the emotions of how that changed, how my life was changing, how co-parenting was now into play and all that kind of stuff that came with it. And it was, of course, it was a difficult time. And there was, setbacks, there was positives from it, there was negatives from it. But ultimately, when you're thrown into the deep end and you've got to swim without a paddle, you either sink or swim, don't you? And luckily, I'm a person that will always swim against it. I will never be defeated. I'm very much a glass half full as opposed to a glass half empty. So I said to myself, right, here's the opportunity actually to start to maybe change the way my life is looking. Eventually, I don't want to do this. I don't want to be working in my 9 to 5 anymore. I want to be somebody who is a health and fitness coach, who has a passion, who wants to work in that passion and help people full time. But at the minute, doing it part time, I can't afford to do it full time, first and foremost. I've got the responsibilities of what the 9 to 5 is. I've got my management role at Mercedes that I had. And I was living in a very simple life. It was easy, but it wasn't fulfilling. And back in, I think it was around August time, 2022, so around about a year after the breakup had happened, I walked into my manager's office at Mercedes, normal working day. I was going in for a yearly review, like you always have at that stage. And I walked in there, and I can't remember the exact conversation, but we got on to him asking, like, what is it you're going to do, like, next? What do you want to learn? Any more skills? Do you want to move to a different department? Would you look to go to a different site, do different job roles, whatever? And I just kind of said to him, I mean, he already knew that I was doing coaching on the side anyway. And I just said to him, to be honest, no, like, I'm just doing this job because it's a money. It's a pay packet every month and this, that and the other. And we got onto the topic and talking about it. And to be fair, he was absolutely sound. We didn't always see eye to eye, but he was really sound in the situation. He basically got to the conversation of saying, why don't you just go and do it? Why don't you just try it? Because if you don't try it, how are you ever going to know? If you're not fulfilled in the job you're doing, obviously we'll miss you. Because I was a great manager. But if it's not a passion of yours, it's not something you want to do forever, why are you going to still do it? Because what's going to say in 5-10 years time, if you're still in this job, will you regret it? And I was like, yeah, I will. So I walked out that office without physically doing it, but handing in my notice and saying, that's it, I'm off, go. And it gave me 1 month to save money. It gave me 1 month to get clear on what I needed to do. And away we went. And I remember going on my first lads holiday trip with the golf lads that I go with every year. That was in August as well. And when I got back from that, I think we had a leaving do, and then that was it. September started, and that was me in, bang, on my own. I think I had 6 or 7 clients at that point, not even bringing in £1,000 a month in terms of money and finances. And I mean, imagine having a house, a mortgage, all the bills that come with it, just general necessities of life. I was like, shit, I am in the deep end and I need to swim again. And I tried it as best as I could. And I gave it a real good go for a few months. And I tried to push things. I had all this time to myself. I was trying to create content and doing all the stuff that online coaches do to try and gain clients. But literally, I was banging my head against a brick wall. And I think I actually started to lose a few clients at the same time. Or I remember bringing a few on, but it was just purely out of desperation, if I'm honest. As opposed to actually, having a fundamental understanding and a program to follow and a commitment and just knowing my worth as the coach, right? It was just about, obviously financially, getting in money at that stage. And then the biggest thing happened to me in terms of business is I reached out to a guy called Mike Harrison. He works as Biceps and Banter. If anybody knows who's watching this, who's a coach or knows who they are, reached out to him and said, I need your help, Mike. Can we have a chat? We had a call and yeah, signed up 2 days or 3 days after Christmas, I think it was. Literally with very little money in the bank account and just saying to myself, if I don't do this, like I'm going to end up. And I was contemplating obviously getting another job, whether that be full-time or part-time or whatever. So yeah, that happened from there. And instantly from that date onwards, I went from here to here to here to here to here to here and reached a point whereby I think it was probably in the May or June time, I was bringing in regular money income that I could support myself with properly. I could invest in the business. I could pay my taxes that I was going to be needing to do as a self-employed business owner. And I had money, cash left over for me in the space of those 6 months. And that has then, from that period onwards, has taken me to the level that I'm at today, which by the way, I have still got a long way to go. I have still got a lot of things I want to achieve or get better at certain things when it comes to client fulfillment, program delivery, communication, everything that comes with being an online fitness coach and knowing where to go with it. But I know if I hadn't reached out that day and spoke to Mike, I would have been back in that office job come January. And I look back on and lean on that experience of those 18 months to 2 years, and it really shaped the way and the where I am today, from adversity, going through difficult periods in a relationship status, navigating co-parenting life, and having to deal with all that kind of stuff that came with it, which was, luckily he was very young, so he didn't really understand it at that point. But obviously from a commitment perspective and a fundamental perspective of structure and everything that goes on in your life, being able to deal with that. And then going through the period and turbulence of being pretty much having no money and having to, get myself out there. And rather than quitting at that point, going again and investing, because I've saw and read and realised how important that help and that support and that structure from somebody else who knew what they was talking about to give me the platform to go and succeed with. And I'll be forever in debt and grateful to Mike and Business and Banter company there for helping me at that specific time. So yeah, that was a little bit of a backstory on me, where I come from, how I've got to the position I am today, and how I used adversity as fuel as opposed to using it as a way to see failure, if you like. And I know I need to say it at the end of a video. Please like, share and subscribe and all that kind of jazz. I'm going to be looking to do lots more content on YouTube. We're going through the Lean Parent series of taking you through the steps about how to build a better structure, better lifestyle, better frameworks in your life to become successful, become that lean parent who is fit, strong, healthy, and a leader for their family. I'm going to sprinkle some personal experiences and personal stuff in there too, so you can get to learn a little bit more about me and well as anything else. So yeah, let me know how you're finding these videos in the comments, and I'll see you in the next one.